And a very warm welcome here to Glenpark in Greenock, where we've got a marvellous cricket match in prospect. Behind me is the Firth of Clyde and the marvellous Argyll Mountains, but the focus of attention is going to be down there on the green sward of Glenpark. We've got two international teams appearing today here at Greenock for Gordon Greenidge's Benefit Match. Scotland against the West Indies. Yes, the full night of the West Indies. A tremendous game in prospect, I think, and the crowd's already flocking in through the gates. Test umpire, of course, John Holder, coming here for Gordon Greenidge's benefit game. Lewis again to Richardson. And there's the hallmark of a great player, that square cut, very much part of the game of Richie Richardson. And Peter Duffy now to take up the attack from the town end, bowling to Phil Simmons. And that one well up to him, going down the leg side and lofted away to the deep square leg boundary to get Phil Simmons nicely off the mark. Good crowd here watching this feast of cricket. And Duffy to bowl to Simmons. And this one timed beautifully and struck over mid-off for a beautiful four there by Phil Simmons. Foster Lewis now to resume to Richie Richardson. And that ball going through to wicketkeeper Hago off the outside edge, and a wicket for Scotland there. 13 for 1, so Richie Richardson departs with the score on 13, and he's replaced by Carl Hooper. Beautiful day here at Glenpark. Good crowd. And Peter Duffy now to bowl again to Phil Simmons. And a short delivery crashed past the diving figure of Duncan Drummond for another ball. Beautifully timed that by Phil Simmons. 24 for 1. Lewis then to bowl at the Gourock end. And he bowls there to Hooper, who is beautifully caught there by Tom Black. Almost a delayed action catch that, as he went to drive the ball square on the offside. And so that's the end of Carl Hooper. 26 for 2. He goes for just 2 runs. And that brings Keith Arthurton, the stocky little left-hander. That brings him to the wicket. But it's Duffy now to bowl to Phil Simmons. Short, and he doesn't get hold of that one at all, and in fact it's picked up at mid-on there by Greg Williamson. A comfortable catch, perhaps a slightly slower delivery, or Simmons aiming to hit that one through mid-wicket but spooning up a catch. Duffy now to Brian Lara, and he lofts that one confidently, short ball, confidently away to the mid-wicket boundary to get him off the mark. Can't bowl short to these West Indians, that's for sure. But there's another short delivery, and that one hammered away again to the mid-wicket boundary with a flourish by Brian Lara. Greg Williamson now, and this time it's Lara again, absolutely carving that one through the cover field off the full pitch that was offered to him. Williamson, the Clydesdale player, and this one again struck handsomely through the offside. A little later, a little squarer, but 4 more runs. And Duffy to Lara again, and this one into the covers, and Henry, a very quick piece of fielding, and he hits the wickets there, and my word, that must have been a close call. Duffy now to Arthurton, and that ball just cutting back into him. But he gets the single that takes the West Indies score to 50. 50 for 3 wickets. Crowd enjoying this run feast. And now Gordon Greenidge to bowl now to his test colleague Brian Lara. Places that way on the offside, but it's in fact called a no ball by umpire John Holder. Greenidge to Lara, and he goes to drive this one, but it stops a little bit perhaps, slower delivery, and he spoons that one up to mid-off there, where it's comfortably held by Foster Lewis. So Gordon Greenidge picks up a wicket in this, his benefit game, and exit Brian Lara. Now it's Greenidge bowling to Arthurton, and that one absolutely smashed over long on. Even Gordon Greenidge appreciating the power in that stroke by this little left-hander, and that ball sailing away for 6 runs. And that brings up the 100, 104 for 4, 25 overs bowled. Now it's Omar Henry bowling to Keith Arthurton, and that on drive beating the sprawling Tom Black to take the score on to 123. Omar Henry now to bowl to Keith Arthurton. And this ball absolutely hammered away over, straight in fact, just over the wall there into the adjacent gardens for 6 handsome runs. The second ball of the over goes the same way, a little wider over long on, but it's 6 more runs to Keith Arthurton. This time it's Tom Black, and it's Roger Harper getting in on the act and swinging that ball away to deep mid-wicket and out of the ground into the gardens there for 6 more runs. Crowd basking in the sun as Omar Henry bowls to Keith Arthurton, and once again Arthurton is down the wicket there and smashing that ball high over long on and out of the ground into the gardens for 6 more runs. And I hope those houses have got their insurance policies paid up, because there it goes again into the gardens again from Keith Arthurton, and again over long on. So that's 2 sixes in 2 balls. Henry then to bowl again to Keith Arthurton. This one wide outside the leg stump and flailed away over the mid-wicket boundary into yet another garden for another 6. And there it goes again. But this time the ball dropping just short of the boundary and going through for 4 runs. Henry again to Arthurton. And this time a full toss is absolutely hammered away over the scoreboard somewhere, again into the gardens, and by my calculations that takes us to 28 off 5 balls, so a maximum possible here of 34, and in fact that brings up Keith Arthurton's 100, which this crowd appreciates very much. 1 more ball of this over to go. Henry to bowl to Arthurton. And yet again this ball hits straight down the ground for 6 more runs, 34 off the over. Tremendous hitting, and well, I think those fielders could do with being in the gardens, never mind on the wall itself. And indeed Keith Arthurton at this point, having achieved a century, having hit 34 off that over from Omar Henry, retires gracefully to the comfort of the pavilion. George Reaper now bowling, and it's Roger Harper this time, smashing that ball over long on for 6 more runs. George Reaper, and he gets through the defence there of Eldon Baptiste, so his stay fairly short, and rich reward there for George Reaper, who has bowled well right through this inning. Again, the crowd appreciating the batting of the West Indians, and now Reaper to Lloyd, and that's him comfortably off the mark. Figure just slightly less slender than it was when he used to patrol the covers and earned himself the nickname of the Black Panther. 239 there for 5 wickets. Reaper now bowling to Roger Harper, and that's his 50 surely. A beautiful delicate shot again. The ball right up to him, almost in the block hole, but he leans back there and cuts the ball, almost glides it, guides it away down to the 3rd man boundary. And that gives the West Indies 40 over total of 254. Magnificent batting there, and the Scottish team appropriately there led off by Gordon Greenidge, of course the beneficiary today, and the man who really got this game off the ground.